What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and I take this week's astrology and give it to you raw. And this is the week of August 26th through September 1st of 2015. Before we go into the horoscope, I want to say my big pay-per-view event of the whole month of September. It's a horoscope live streaming pay-per-view event where I literally give you astrology like you've never seen before. Is going to be on Monday, August 31st. You can go to my website, theleoking.com, click on events, pay-per-view to get a ticket and watch live and join me in the chat and ask questions. I've reformatted it in my new studio. By the way, I'm at the new Leo King Studios. Behind me here is the new green screen studio that is almost done. Still got more stuff to do, but you know what? It's a dream come true. And it's really exciting, and there's going to be so much new content coming out in the next couple weeks that's going to be awesome and blow your mind, especially for all the YouTube people out there. Talk about blowing our minds, right? The Sun and Jupiter have met in Virgo, and Jupiter and Virgo is a very weird space. You know, it does bring that grandiose feeling, but really, it's not at its full capacity. You know, Jupiter, when it comes into Virgo, has to kind of only pay attention to things that matter. Virgo is not a grandiose sign. You don't see too many Virgos out there, you know, throwing their cash down and being all grandiose. You know, Virgo's all about being practical and, in my opinion, pure. And I think what this has been doing, as we've seen the Sun and Jupiter, as we come into this week, is start to realize where we're impure, where parts of our body aren't right, where parts of our soul are needing to be cleaned. And so we step into this week, or Wednesday to Wednesday, with a big, I think excitement of cleaning up our lives, a little bit of fear, Saturn, of course, in Scorpio, but we're ready. You know, we're ready to clean up our life. We're ready to feel pure. And to me, this is all about not so much the grandiose of energy, but that real things can come true. Real things can become reality. And that's what this time is things becoming real, things having to be changed in our lives to make things become real. But that is nothing compared to what is going on this week. The main events. Number one, of course, we've got a full moon in Pisces that's going to happen. And this one's a very sensitive one because Jupiter and Neptune are involved. It's going to be the Sun and Jupiter against the full moon and Neptune. Very opposite energies, right? The Sun and the Moon are very different. The Sun's where we shine our brightest, and it's in Virgo. It's being that practicality. It's being that, figuring things out. And then there's the Moon, very sensitive, already in Pisces, where it's extremely sensitive, on top of Neptune, which is the most sensitive planet in all the planets, right? Dealing with our vulnerability. And there's Jupiter, that's not very vulnerable. It's out there, it's big, it's exploration. So we have to face in our lives a lot of deep, deep things this week regarding our deepest vulnerabilities. And also where we're lost, where we have, fooled ourselves. This is about where we've been fooled. And becoming realistic about the life that we can change, this is where we're going to have a huge wake-up call. This weekend is a big wake-up call because this full moon literally is highlighting, in my opinion, the signs of waking up. Also, the planets of, Jupiter and Neptune do get along good, I will be honest. Especially when they come together, they can form like really big dreams. But when they're in opposition, in order to make these dreams come true, in order to make, I think our lives matter, is we have to be very honest with ourselves and see where we're totally deceiving ourselves, see where we're totally off the mark. And this is where it all comes to a place of healing. This is a very healing full moon. Healing, a deep inner part of ourselves. We're getting ready for September with eclipses, with, well, not in September, but the North Node's getting almost into Virgo. We're about to, with Jupiter here. This is about healing our lives and kind of stepping back into Earth a little bit. I think we've been so pulled out of reality with a Pluto-Uranus square, a Neptune in Pisces, a solar eclipse that happened on March 19th of 2015, We have literally for the last 6 months been out of reality. And now the universe, if you're looking at the next month and a half, and as we start this week with this full moon and with this Sun Jupiter, pulling us into a reality. I did a video, this is about ascension symptoms being healed. This is about how we can heal from ascension symptoms. We can, heal from getting too far away. Our soul's kind of leaving the reality too much. The universe is forcing us to stay here. Remember that we're in this reality. And this is where a time where, for those that have been really distant and really going into the other dimensions, this is kind of a pullback. This is a reminder to come back to reality, a reminder to stay in your reality no matter what you're doing in your spiritual work. For those that only stick in this reality, this is kind of a wake-up call that there are other dimensions out there, that there are other parts of your higher self and past lives and future lives to connect with. So this is going to be, I think you're going to start to see what side of the table you're on. I already know which side I'm on. This is definitely going to be healing ascension symptoms that I've been going through for years. And I already have been feeling them starting to be healed, especially right when Jupiter came into Virgo. I think that this is bringing us back into the reality and to face things. There's so much to talk about. We got Mercury, which enters into Libra. And Mercury is going to be in Libra till November 1st because it's going to go retrograde in a couple weeks on September 16th and 17th. It's going to go retrograde from September 17th all the way until October 9th. And then it's going to go forward and go all the way through Libra, literally all the way through, because literally it's so interesting to see that this Mercury shadow starts at 0 degree of Libra. So that means the second Mercury enters Libra, we're in the shadow period. So we're starting Mercury shadow, which means combined with Venus retrograde and Mars conjuncting, which we're now going to talk about. There's so much to talk about. I'm really going to say this. What we are stepping into, not only with the healing, but with this full moon in Pisces with Neptune, and a Mercury shadow, a Venus retrograde Mars conjunction. This is the second time Mars and Venus have conjuncted this year. We need to really look at relationships powerfully, which ones can really happen and which ones can't. So this is going to bring up extreme relationship aspects this weekend into next week. And especially with a full moon triggering it, of which ones works and which ones don't, which ones are karmic, which ones are not, especially because Mercury is now entered into Libra, the sign of relationships and balancing things out. There's going to be a lot to weigh out now about reality and what's not reality and who's right and what does my heart want and is this all together? And with Saturn and Scorpio mixing, having to be cold and brash and truthful and real and deep. This is a big week. I think that a lot of karmic relationship aspects regarding you having to really be honest with yourself come up. Mars and Venus, Mars on top of Venus can bring great connections. So I think there's going to be some powerful connections with new relationships coming in, old ones coming in, and current ones that you're existing in. But that Mercury in Libra in shadow is now forcing us to get the facts straight. A North Node conjunction to Mercury is going to aim and show you where to aim for, where to see if this is your old ego trying to connect with this relationship, and what is the new ego you are creating, which one's more in alignment with who you are. This is also all this Leo, not being over dramatic about relationships, but being truthful of the heart. Saturn in Scorpio kind of is a very dramatic energy as well, because by the end of this week that we're talking about, Saturn enters 29 degree of Scorpio, the last degree of Scorpio, where it will be finishing out. So the drama is about to increase in our lives here. And when you're in a lot of retrograde energy and shadow energy, this is where things get a little bit dicey. Things start to kind of really really get involved. Mars is adding a lot of intensity to the Venus retrograde position. Venus is almost done with its retrograde, by the way. It's already been going on for, I can't even believe, I think 3 weeks now. I think we got one more week left of it, and then it's going to station stop, go forward on September 6th and 7th. So we are one more week away from this Venus retrograde. So just know in the relationship field, this is the last major week into next week of where it is weird. I'm sure you've all been feeling it. weird people coming in, weird situations, especially regarding love, especially regarding, financial aspects, how you're making money, what's going on, better parts of looking at, the values of yourself, remembering what you're good at, remembering what you need to sharpen your skill sets on. But all in all, the Sun opposes Neptune as we begin the week, so we need to be very careful. I'm going to say this. My big careful caution is to not be misguided this week. Because there is so much with a full moon in Pisces, the shadow period of Mercury, a Mars on top of a Venus retrograde. It's almost like the universe is seducing us into old past karmic cycles, big tests. Maybe this is, you're going to be forced into things to clear the karma. But you've got to be clear. The Virgo energy needs to make sense of all this and to be logically understood. And I think that there's a lot to pay real about. People are going to think pie in the sky. This is where people get engaged, move to Vegas, get married with somebody they met playing poker. Stuff like that really can kind of come up. It's all about being real. It's all about seeing if it's really from your higher self. This is where we could even fool ourselves of what we believe is what God is calling us towards, our higher self. This is where you're going to have to know that in-between line and know how to decipher. I wish I could give you the exact way to do that, but that's something in yourself that you have to do. And this week really highlights that very powerfully. So I think it's going to be rockin' fun, because whenever something like this happens, and Mercury coming into Libra for the next, I can't even believe it, 2 months, is going to be really looking at the relationship field crazy. And with the Venus retrograde finishing up and with all the other things, this is about really, truly us finding the reality and the balance between, healing ourselves from ascension and becoming back on Earth and starting to sort out relationship aspects that I think have been difficult because our souls get pulled away or taken into another direction, or just dealing with our own sensitive vulnerabilities can sometimes make it hard. And it's going to highlight what those vulnerabilities have been and finding the ways for you to fix and heal them this week. But be careful of not being led into a direction that you do not want to go, because Mars on top of Venus as well is about learning to understand what you value in yourself, what you want to create, and what your heart really wants, and not being seduced into places that you don't want to go. That's my horoscope for this week. I'd love to see you on my app and my special website, leoking.lookstack.com, or Apple Store, Android Store, The Leo King. You can get my daily horoscopes, my daily text notifications, and more importantly, my sun sign horoscopes. It's all at that website. I also do a weekly intuitive reading and a weekly tarot reading. Whew! It's all there. And of course, pay-per-view event, August 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I also have spiritual dance music. We're going to be doing that next week. I think I'm going to be doing it, I don't know yet what day. I got to finish the studio. This isn't even close to done yet. I got to mount all the lights and do a bunch of foam and insulation in here to dampen the noise. And the green screen studio is close to done, but a lot of cool stuff going on. I love you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm sending you all my love and light. I know you can make it through this week. It's going to be awesome. There's nothing about trying to make it through. This is all about learning to heal yourself and allow the universe to heal yourself, and find ways to heal yourself, and make sure you understand what you know what you want and what you're being fooled into thinking what you want. Thanks so much for all the support. I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next Uncut.